Have you ever found yourself standing outside a meeting room, knowing you need to give someone tough feedback, and suddenly your heart starts pounding, your mouth is dry, and every cell in your body is screaming, maybe this can wait. Maybe you rehearse the conversation in your head 10 different ways. Maybe you tell yourself, now's not the right time. I don't want to upset them. I'll just bring this up in their next performance review instead. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know something very clearly. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not a weak leader. You are not too soft. What you're experiencing is biology. Your brain is reacting to giving feedback in a very similar way to how it reacts to a physical threat. And if you don't understand that, your biology will keep running your leadership from the shadows. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why your brain hates giving feedback, what exactly is happening inside your nervous system. And then I'll share the simple mental hacks I use myself to override that fear, so you can lead with courage and honesty. Let's start with what's really going on. Deep in your brain, you have a structure called the amygdala. Think of it as your internal smoke alarm. Its job is to scan for threats constantly and to keep you alive. Now, thousands of years ago, the biggest threat to your survival wasn't a bad quarterly result or an uncomfortable one-on-one. It was being kicked out of the tribe, rejection, exclusion, losing your place in the group. Because back then, if you were alone, you died. Fast forward to today, when you walk into a room to give someone difficult feedback, your amygdala doesn't see a calm, professional conversation. It sees danger. It thinks, what if they get angry? What if they reject me? What if this damages the relationship? What if I'm the bad guy here? And your body reacts as if it's under physical threat. Cortisol surges, your heart rate climbs, your breathing becomes shallow. You might feel a knot in your stomach. Neuroscience studies show that social rejection, being left out, criticized or shamed, activates the same pain centers in the brain as physical pain. Your brain literally cannot tell much difference between this might harm my relationships and this might harm my body. And here's the really important part for leaders. When your amygdala is firing, it hijacks your system. Blood flow moves away from the rational, logical part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, and into the limbic system. That means your ability to think clearly, to choose your words carefully, to access empathy, to regulate your own emotions, all of that gets compromised. So if you've ever gone into a feedback conversation and felt yourself freeze, or ramble, or sugarcoat everything until the message disappears and means nothing, that isn't a character flaw. That's an amygdala hijack. Now, what is the cost of silence? I learnt this the hard way. Earlier in my career, I was a master at avoiding these conversations. I would see the issues, feel a knot in my stomach, and tell myself, I'll address it later. And later would turn into the end of year performance review. I still remember sitting across from a team member and finally dumping 12 months of unspoken feedback on them all at once. They went white as a ghost. They were in total shock. From their perspective, they'd been doing fine all year because I hadn't said a word. They didn't just feel criticized, they felt betrayed. They walked out of that room feeling like I had set them up to fail. And within weeks, they were gone. They left the company. But the cost of silence isn't just about one relationship. It's about everyone else that's watching. When your team sees someone missing deadlines, acting disrespectfully, or undermining the culture, and they say you doing nothing about it, one of three things happen, and none of them are good. First, they might start mimicking the behavior themselves. They think, well, if they can get away with it, why should I work so hard? The standard drops for everyone. Second, they get infuriated and disengage. They quietly quit. They stop offering ideas, they stop caring, because they see that standards don't matter around here. Or third, and this is the most dangerous, your best people, the ones with a strong moral compass and high standards, they simply leave. They refuse to work in a low accountability environment. So you end up with a double whammy. You are left with the person whose behavior is a problem and the high performers you desperately wanted to keep. they walk out the door. That is the true cost of your silence. So what do we do about this? We can't just tell the amygdala to calm down. That doesn't work at all. We have to update the mental software that's interpreting the situation as a threat in the first place. I want to share 3 reframes that genuinely change my relationship with feedback. These are sentences I use with myself when I'm about to walk into a tough conversation. Hack number 1, feedback is a gift. When I'm nervous, I remind myself people cannot fix what they don't know about. If someone on my team is doing something that's hurting their reputation or making life harder for their colleagues, and I see it but do nothing, I'm not being kind. I'm withholding information they desperately need to grow. So before a conversation, I say to myself, giving this feedback is a gift. I'm giving them a chance to improve, to succeed, and to avoid bigger problems down the line. Hack number 2 is the mirror test. This one is deeply personal. I think about times in my career where I discovered years later that I was doing something unhelpful and nobody told me. Honestly, I felt mortified to know that I was making someone else's life harder than it needed to be, and they all just silently endured it. So now when I hesitate, I flip that perspective. If I were in their shoes, I would want to know every single time. Even if it stings in the moment, I would rather have a moment of discomfort than to continue being blind to something that's holding me back. Hack number 3, love over fear. This might sound soft, but it's the strongest reframe of all. If I didn't care about you, it would be so much easier to say nothing, to go into self-protection mode, to avoid the conversation. The very fact that I'm willing to sit in an uncomfortable conversation with you is evidence that I care more about you and our relationship than I care about my own temporary discomfort. So I consciously remind myself, my love and respect for this person is greater than my fear of the moment. When you anchor into that, into service, your nervous system calms down. You are no longer walking in as an attacker, you're walking in as an ally. Now, all of that is the inner work, but when you're actually in the conversation, you need somewhere simple to start. You don't need a complex framework just yet. You just need the first sentence. Here's the one I use, and you are welcome to steal it. I have some thoughts that I think could really help you with topic X. Would you be open to hearing them? That's it. What does that do? First, it signals positive intent. You're making it clear you're here to help. Second, you're asking permission. When they say yes, a little micro yes, they are psychologically bracing for feedback. They've chosen to step into this conversation with you, and that lowers their defensiveness. You've now created a tiny bubble of psychological safety. So, to bring this all together, your brain hates giving feedback because it was designed to keep you safe from social rejection. But if you let that run unchecked, you avoid the very conversations that build trust. When you reframe feedback as a gift, when you remember that you would want to know, and when you choose love over fear, you start to lead from a different place. Once you've opened that door with a micro yes, what exactly do you do next? Well, in the next video, I'm going to build on this and give you the exact structure I use, the SBI model, to deliver the message clearly and respectfully, step by step. If you've ever worried about saying it wrong, you are going to want to see that. So make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video.